What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for TheLines.com, PlayPicks.com. Going to talk to you about Monday Night Football between Seattle Seahawks and the Washington Football Team. As always, everything we do absolutely free, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Get notified every time we get something going on here on the channel. Of course, thumbs up this thing and then let us know in the comment section how you're playing this game. If you are a subscriber, you are automatically entered into a big giveaway that we're going to do before the end of the year. So we take a look here at the Seahawks and the football team right now. Best line you're going to find on the Seahawks, you can get them at +1 still. That is available out there all over the place. And best number you're going to get on the football team is +1 as well. So you can basically get both sides of this thing at +1. As far as the total goes, we're looking at about 46.5 kind of being the number here for this one. If you look at the injury situation on this game, there are some starters that are going to be out on the Seattle side. Their left guard, Damian Lewis, starter. He's out for them. Both running backs, Rashad Penny and Travis Homer, are both out for the Seahawks. Cornerback Trey Brown is out. And then they got a swing lineman that kind of plays all over the offensive line for them, and Jamarco Jones, who's also out for the Seahawks in this one. On the Washington football side of things, Sam Cosmi, offensive tackles, out for them. Tyler Larson, backup center for them, is out. Tight end Ricky Seals-Jones is also out for them. Questionable is Curtis Samuel. He is expected to play. Also expected to play is Logan Thomas, the tight end. Practiced all week for them. He's been on IR since week 4. And so good on them to be able to get Logan Thomas back in there. So let's look at what and I'll let you read along here if you want to read kind of what's been going on. What we really have here is an offense on the Seattle side of things that has just been struggling. I mean, just absolutely mightily, right? Since Russell Wilson came back in. I think he came back in too soon. A lot of the people that are following this situation think he came back too soon. He came back before even the earliest window that he was supposed to be able to come back. And I think it's really showed in the way that he's played, right? So Seahawks have only scored 13 points since he came back from that finger injury. That's combined. In the 2 games that he's been back, they only have 474 total yards in the 2 games since he came back. And so it's just, it's been really putrid as far as the offense goes for this Seattle Seahawks team. You know, a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're just still, Pete Carroll, for whatever reason, still wants to play in the Stone Age. And I'll scroll a little bit further so you can read some matchup stuff here. Runs too often, doesn't make really great in-game adjustments, doesn't really make great in-game decisions either. And so been a big problem for this team. Also been a big problem for this team, though, has just been their efficiency, or I should say lack thereof, on third down as well. Like, Russell Wilson is last in the league in completion rate on third down. 35% of his passes have been completed on third downs this season. He's been sacked on 23% of his third down dropbacks because this offensive line still is Swiss cheese. So it doesn't matter. Like Russell, he's still back there running for his life. And so nearly a quarter of his dropbacks on third down, he's been sacked. It's the highest rate in the league, as you would imagine with that, right? So what does that equate to? It's them being 30th in the league in third down efficiency overall. So, I mean, only 2 teams are worse than them on third down in the NFL. So it's just, it's been real tough sledding for them the last 2 weeks. Now, the complete opposite for the Washington football team, right? Like, they've won 2 in a row, and over that 2-game span, Taylor Heineke has really been making some plays. Actually, he's completed over 3/4 of his passes. It's 78% of his passes over the last 2 games. He hadn't thrown a pick in those 2 games as well. And so kind of 2 teams heading in opposite directions, at least over the last couple of games. Super small sample size, but still something that we would, monitor when it comes to all this. It's one of those things where when you look at this, the struggles on the Seattle offensive side of the ball, it doesn't really look like it's going to be one of those things that has a really super easy path to go away, right? I mean, if you look, the offensive line, like I said, Russell Wilson's been running for his life, right? Well, they're 30th in pressure. They're 30th in the NFL in pressure allowed. They're 31st in adjusted sack rate. And even though Montez Sweat and Chase Young are gone, this defense still blitzes a ton, right? Like, so the Washington blitzes at the 5th highest rate in the league. So even if the front four aren't getting there, they're going to send extra guys at Russell Wilson. what that has done is created, a top 12-ish pressure rate, top 12-ish pass rush win rate against opposing quarterbacks. And so you kind of see what Russell Wilson's going to have to deal with, much of the same that he's been dealing with these last couple of weeks since coming back. Injured finger, doesn't look like he's 100%. And then on top of that, going to get a lot of pressure and stuff. So I think there's a pretty big advantage on the Washington defensive side, which is pretty crazy because they have not been playing defense all that great this year. But as far as getting pressure on the quarterback, because this offensive line has been really bad at helping Russell Wilson out, right? And keeping him clean and figuring out how to, get any sort of pass blocking scheme together that doesn't have him running for his life back there. And so, I really do think there's a pretty big advantage there, like where I'm at on this game. So it was wrong team favored in my opinion whenever this line opened. I was able to get Washington. So it opened Washington a little over 2.5. I didn't make it to the 2.5. I got to the 2 and was able to tease that up to 8 because I was looking for dance partners with the New England Patriots, who I absolutely love this week. Of course, that leg's already home, so I'm trying to close out a teaser here on Washington at +8. That said, as we sit right now, you can still catch a point with Washington at home against the Seattle team that, again, like I said, scored 13 points over the last 2 games. And I think if we power rated these 2 teams right now, which I do, 1 through 32 every week, I have Washington ahead of Seattle. And I'm catching points at home with the team that I have power rated higher than the other team. And you, again, like I said, on the offensive side of the ball, not only are you getting Curtis Samuel back, now he'll be on a pitch count, right? Snap count. He'll probably only play on the important passing downs, but still, okay, you get him out there for 15, 20 snaps, something like that. That's a bonus. And then you get Logan Thomas back. That's also a bonus for this team. Not to mention Seattle, with no Rashad Penny, no Travis Homer, a team that wants to run all the time. The team is probably going to still try to run all the time. You're down to Alex Collins and DJ Dallas as far as your running backs go. So I really do like Washington in this situation. That number that I got, though, is no longer there. So, I mean, it's hard for me to recommend a way worse number. But if you really want to play this thing, I think it'd be Washington or pass for me for sure. Slight lean to the under, but I don't have a strong conviction one way or the other on the total there. But you just look at kind of how this has gone. Like I said, I mean, this I don't know how you just fix things in a week with what's happened over the last couple of weeks with Russell Wilson again in this offense. I think that finger's bothering him. Offensive line's still terrible. They're injured. Going to be without a starting offensive lineman. Going to be without 2 running backs that contribute. I think it's a pretty bad situation for them. Over on the prop side of things, guys, let's start out with Taylor Heineke, who I do like on the over of his passing yards. Now, this has risen since I got this as well, unfortunately. But let's take a look and see where we can get. It's still going to be at 240. But even with that, I have it closer to 255. Now, the edge isn't quite as good, but I have it closer to 255 as far as his total goes. So at least a slight edge there on the over with him. Maybe you can play one of the alt lines that are available on the sites as well. With all of that, kind of a correlated play with the over, of course, on his passing yardage would be Terry McLaurin, his number one receiver, getting the over on his receiving yards as well, right? Terry McLaurin, if anything, getting Curtis Samuel and getting Logan Thomas back should help him out and should help get him freed up, and they can't just key on him near as much. So if anything, it should help him out as well. And then we're talking about Logan Thomas, and here's the thing. Yeah, he's coming off of injury, and yeah, this is one of those deals where typically you'd think, okay, well, he's coming off injury, maybe we should back off. That being said, he practiced all week long. Apparently, if you read the beat writers, said he was perfectly fine, looked really, really great. And then Ricky Seals-Jones, the other tight end, is out in this game anyway. So he's going to be forced, I think, into more action as it is. So if I like Heineke over passing, and he's got to get there somehow, and I think there's going to be a guy out there running a ton of routes, and so I like Logan Thomas on the over as well. So I know, kind of scary going with all overs there. One of the things you obviously also can do is the same game parlay stuff, right? And that's one of the deals that is available. So if you take a look right here, because you can play the alt lines on these same game parlays as well. So we could basically just play the same prop just in the same game parlay with alt lines that are a little bit lower. So Heineke just over 200 as opposed to the 240. And then with Logan Thomas over 25 as opposed to over the 30. And then McLaurin over 49.5 as opposed to the 66.5. All three of those, again, highly correlated. If he goes over his passing yards, likely his two top targets are going to go over an adjusted smaller number for them as well, and it comes out to a plus 155. So I like kind of this same game parlay as a very correlated play as to how I think the game's going to go as it is anyway. You could adjust this if you wanted to just over 225, which would, you can see, adjust your payout a little bit more up to plus 190 if you wanted to go that route. So depending on how risk averse you are and stuff like that, you can go that route. Again, like I said, I have them closer to 255. If you want to play it safe, just go for the 150 on the over 199.5. If you want to go be a little bit more frisky, of course, the over 224 gets you up to a plus 190 as opposed to the plus 155 on that same game parlay. But again, highly correlated with all of that, and better than the current prop numbers that you get if you play the alts on those. So again, guys, look, I like Washington. I think Washington wins the game. If you're going to catch points at home, I think that's the way to go. Again, it doesn't look like there's only one book where you can, at DraftKings right now, where you can catch some points on Washington. Really do like that angle. Again, lean to the under. Don't have anything in my account on that. I'm trying to close out a parlay. I'm trying to close out a teaser on Washington this week as well. So be rooting for Washington big time. And again, I do like those props. I think Heineke gets it done with the passing yards. And again, his top two receivers are the beneficiary of that as well. Guys, as always, everything we do absolutely free over here on the line. So be sure and go ahead and click that subscribe button. Again, you're automatically entered into big giveaway we're going to do before the end of the year. Going to give it away, do a big giveaway in December. So appreciate all you guys supporting the channel. Join the Discord. Click on that up there as well. And then, of course, like the video and then let us know in the comment section how you're going to play the game. Do you like those props? Do you like this side? Do you like something different here? Do you think Russ bounced back and I'm completely off on this whole deal? Looks super injured to me and looks like this offense is pretty broken. But let us know, and good luck on all your bets here on Monday Night Football.